Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated return of the guy that we just call Al in this town is Al Trost, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Kevin. Nice
Yeah.
to talk to you again. Nice to talk to you again.
Thank you. I had to, go indoors. This heat is so bad, huh? Did you have to run inside today?
Yeah, I will spend most of the day probably inside. I will be taking my granddaughter and a couple friends to the show, so we're going to stay inside.
Oh, yeah.
For a little while. So, yeah.
Oh,
That's true.
fantastic. Well, I want to thank you personally for allowing me this because, people all across the country, they want to talk to I guess you were the original Captain America,
I'm not too sure about that, but
huh?
long time ago, the
Yeah.
Soccer Monthly magazine posted that the picture up there, and I think it just came on, got on, back in the 1970s.
Yeah. So, well, let's go from where we're at, and let's see as far as the United States World Cup North America World Cup in Mexico. Is that I just know as Azteca, the one in Mexico City. You played there. Is that just a magnificent stadium?
Yeah, it truly was. But just to let you know, I played there back in the 70s, early 70s with the United States Olympic team when we had to play qualification games there. It was not the facility as it is today. They went to a magnificent renovation project, maybe in the late 1980s or early 1990s, and it kind of went from like a 110,000 seat stadium where you basically sat around on bench seats, and they renovated it into more of a luxury stadium with individual seats. And I know it took a couple years, and it went from like maybe 110,000 people stadium to I think it seats about 80,000 now, and it's the home stadium for Club America, the big club down in Mexico.
Yeah.
But back in the day, the pitch was nice. Stadium was getting old, but it held a lot of people. We had some battles there, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And so you come from that, and and then Canada. I don't know where they had theirs. If you recognize some of the big stadiums there.
Yeah. It was well, the World Cup. When they enlarged it to 48 teams, that I personally, a lot of people were frowned on it, and I kind of thought it was a good thing, knowing how especially some of the supposedly weaker countries never played in one, and so it allowed them to enter it. Like I said, when I played, only 16 teams got into the final. There were 4 pools of 4, and we were fortunate enough in the CONCACAF region to get pretty far in the late 1970s. We lost in the semifinals, and Mexico ended up only being the only team from the CONCACAF region to advance into the finals of the World Cup, which for me in 1978 it was in Argentina. So, but just a magnificent experience that I had. Whenever you put on a shirt that says USA on it, is always very, very special, and I'll always remember those days.
Absolutely. So there brings down to you're there, you lived it, went through it, and then now you, over the years and decades, you have watched. And what do you got to say about the
Well,
performance?
I think, Kevin, if you watch the United States team, and as I have over the decades, just just doubled, tripled, quadrupled, the abilities, the talent that they have. I was so impressed, watching the U.S. team, um, in the early games, how really solid they were, how well they played, how well organized they were. Even in the game against Turkey that they lost, I I was so impressed, and I was hoping for, like everybody else, hoping for greater things, but it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. I was able to, thanks to my kids and my grandson Dylan, and he went with us, and then my children went with me to. They took me actually to Seattle to watch the U.S. play Australia, and
Wow.
what a great experience seeing those U.S. fans there, and it was just a great experience for me, to be sitting amongst that, to be walking around during the fan areas, outside the stadium. What a great stadium to play into in Seattle. It was just a great experience for me.
Wow. And you played there as a professional, didn't you?
Well, we played as a professional in the North American Soccer League. Yeah, the Seattle Sounders. I played there for Seattle for 3 years. Um, After leaving, St. Louis, went to California, and then from California I was traded up to Seattle, and played there for 3 years. We played in the old Kingdome,
Oh,
and
wow.
the Kingdome was, we had quite a following back in those days. We had regularly 18, 19, 20,000 people
Holy
that
cow.
showed up every home game, on the bottom level of the Kingdome, and eventually they tore the Kingdome down. And although I was gone, I was out of Seattle, I was back in St. Louis, but they ended up tearing down the Kingdome, and that's on that site is where they built Lumen Field, where the Sounders play, and the baseball stadium, right next to it. So the site of the Kingdome became those two stadiums, and it's awesome to be there because it's right downtown, and you can walk there. You can walk, over to uh, the public market, down to the wharf. I mean, it's in a perfect location. It's in a great location in Seattle.
Wow. Well, I'm a guy that if I bought a team, I couldn't play golf because the teammates wouldn't allow me. And but you have seen, and you always say these guys they know how to play a whole lot better than we played. And I mean, it's that old story. You get better when you were younger. Uh,
Yeah,
but man,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you.
No, I really, I guess I'm just a little jealous, seeing the pitches that they play on, the stadiums that they play in, how we grew up, playing in the neighborhood, you know, playing against always great competition here in St. Louis. That's the only way I got better, knowing that I have to be ready to play on every youth game that I played in,
Yeah,
because I knew the competition was going to be there. We always wanted to play in the highest leagues, the best leagues,
yeah.
and that's basically how I got better.
There you go. Well, then that takes it down to how you think that the World Cup after that last the final and all the little uh, dealings. How you think is the future the next 4 years? You think there's going to be something going on or what?
I'm not sure, but I personally, when you start at the top, you look at the coach that they hired, Pochettino. It seems like, and I haven't really talked to any of the players or around anybody who I met him one time, talked to him for a few minutes, but when he was here in St. Louis for some training and they played a friendly here. But I think they ought to give him another chance. You're always willing. You're always saying that soccer you could have a bad game, and U.S. obviously had a bad game. But there's so much. I think he gets an understanding of what soccer here in the United States is, and I think you got to give him that opportunity, that chance for another 4 years. That's my personal thing here.
Absolutely.
But I was disappointed with that game, with the failure of not being able to move on. But you got to recognize you're playing against probably one of the top 10 teams in the world. It's a good measuring stick, from where we're at and what we need to do. Obviously, there's so much to learn, from these other teams and what they do in their countries and how they perform and how their youth teams or youth programs are organized. I'm not saying that the United States should copy anybody, because it seems like 30 years ago it was like 40 years ago it was like, let's do what the Dutch do. 20 years ago, let's do what the Germans do. Now it's like, well, let's see what happens in Spain. Let's see what they do. And it's always like, do we have to copy anybody? Maybe we can understand what works with them and what will work with us in this country, and the culture that we have of soccer in this country. There's a lot to learn, and I think there's a long way for us to go. We've progressed so much, in the last few decades. It's wonderful. It's wonderful that the soccer culture now is so good in the United States, and it's only going to get better. We'll have to qualify for the next World Cup, but I think we'll do it. I think we're, that competitive, and I think we got such a good group of young players coming up, from what I can understand. But that's just an outsider. I'm an outsider now. I'm not involved.
No,
I'm not involved in the politics of everything. But
right.
That's just my personal opinion.
Well, you know how to work that shovel, because you went deep on that one. That was nice, Al. So,
well, I think the world of the game, and it's been such a big part of my life, and it continues to be part of my life.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
How about the youth? Say that the under 20s and all the academy and this and that, and how that goes. Do you have any viewpoint on that?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Because there's such a big discussion on the big pay to play philosophy now that we have in this country. I'm not too sure. I don't personally. It's hard for me to have an opinion to come to grips with it. But it seems like we get a lot of players into the youth programs, the youth teams, and we basically keep them because they're they can pay. And I think we miss out on a lot of talent that can't afford to do that. How do we find that talent and how do we develop it? Because we know for a fact that many of the best players in the world were not from the highest socioeconomic classes. So I don't know how to change it. I don't know if it's I don't know, but I just think we miss out on a lot of really good players. And I think we keep a lot of players because they can afford to pay it. Whether they should be in the top programs or not, that's yet to be seen. But when I see it promoted like under 9s and under 10s as being pre-ECNL or pre-Next Pro, I think that's crazy. Under 10 years old and he's in a pre Next Pro, MLS Next Pro. It's just crazy. I can't imagine it. I grew up around Fairgrounds Park.
Yeah, you learned Latin though. Being a
true.
server. Yeah, where you go.
That's true. You got it there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well.
So it's hard for me to say, well, that's not the way they do it in in Spain, or that's not the way they do it in France. I'm not sure what they do there, but I'm always saying I think we miss a lot of kids who can't really afford it, or I wish there was a way to give them scholarships or something. I don't know if that's possible, um, but I just I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. Well, St. Louis University and all the colleges, they have an overseas roster a lot on a, they look there.
Yeah, most Division One, some Division Two schools do the same thing, and there's a lot of good players that come here to play at our colleges. I got to give them credit there. I they get the opportunity to come and get an education, and I just hope all those colleges and universities don't miss the American player. Give those American players an opportunity to play. Um, I don't know. I don't know. We're probably seeing an influx of a lot of good a lot of good American players who aren't getting that opportunity to play, and I hate to see that. I really hate to see it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, how about the Billiken? Are you you got your season tickets and
I
really?
do. I
Yes,
do.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. I do every year.
yeah.
I wish I could make every game, but with two kids living out of town, I like to go see them in
Oh,
the
yeah.
fall. So I miss some games, but I try to make it to many of the games that I can. I think Kevin Kalish is a wonderful coach. He's doing great things for that team, and he's quite a promoter too. And them reaching the Final Four last year was quite the achievement. And I wish him all the best. I think it really helped his recruiting. Being able to get there, and like anything, I think Kevin is a great communicator, and I think he does a great job down at St. Louis U.
Right. So, any autograph seekers? Is there a particular spot where all you ex-Billikens hang out?
No, we do get together on a regular basis. Those teammates are very close, as you probably know. The teammates of mine when I was a junior, senior year. Senior year, we had so many really good freshmen come into the program that put us into the championship again for the second year in a row. So that team became pretty close. I'm not a golfer, and I know they go golfing quite often, but when somebody comes in town, like my old roommate Eddie Newsel, Dr. Newsel, when he comes in town from from Austin, Texas, where he lives, and he comes in town, he lets us know, and we usually get together with about 30, 40, of our teammates. So
Yeah.
it's a good time. It's really a good time to see everybody.
Right. So, how about did you write a note to City? I mean, they're on a roll, bro.
Well, a lot comes with having a lot of confidence, and a lot comes with being organized. I think the coach has them pretty well organized now. He seems like he's getting the best out of the players and the talent that he has, even without supposedly a great number 9. Simon Betcher is doing okay. He's a good player, and he's obviously he misses his chances, but he creates them too. So, I think he's got them organized, and that's a big part. It seemed like last year they were unorganized. So he's got them playing a system maybe that he likes to play, and they're best at playing, and we're enjoying watching the games. The last one wasn't the best, but it was kind of warm. Players were kind of slow. We didn't see the movement that you would normally see, I think, but and we were coming off watching the World Cup, some of the greatest teams in the world. So it was a little disappointing, but we won and we got the result, and that's all that matters right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're deep in the, I guess the Final Four of the U.S. Open.
Are they that far?
Close.
I don't know. I haven't. There's such a big gap here now from the last time they played to see how many teams are left. I thought maybe there's 8 teams left. Are
All
they?
right. Well,
I'm not sure. I'd have to check that out.
I don't have a research department here at Wales Certified. But there it goes. Is that the U.S. Open? Does that bring some memories?
Oh, it sure does. It's been a great tournament for for the years that I played because it was such a challenge. That you win you win coming out of St. Louis and you get to play against possibly the Chicago Swabins, who had a great program, against many really strong ethnic teams throughout the country, or to go to California. And that was really kind of like the first experience that I had with getting out of St. Louis, that and with St. Louis University. So it's a great tournament. Basically we controlled it in the early days with Kudus and other teams in the old Open Cup, and I hope St. Louis stays a part of it for a long time.
Yeah, and I kind of on Sundays I'm thinking about going to see a senior match. I mean, having senior soccer being played around is no longer.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of those old senior players that we kind of know and grew up on they all became coaches. That's why I think the game has progressed, so well, because in the days when we were, the dads were the coaches, and they did all the organizing, and now we have professionals and semi-professional players coaching our youth teams now, and even our senior teams. So it's glad to see everybody putting themselves back into the game again.
Well, I guess we'll have to close up because I guess you have to start organizing the Trost Christmas.
Don't make that too public.
All right.
So we have a good Christmas gathering of playing indoor soccer, and it's a lot of fun. We usually get about 100 there.
Yeah, man.
You're always invited.
Well, thank you. And then the Pimmels, they have one that go over the house. They play in the backyard. That's exciting.
There could be some kicking shins in that one.
Woo! You know it is, boy.
They would have the paramedics ready outside their house.
Yeah. We didn't forget what you did last season. Yeah. Okay, so it's a custom here at Wales Certified to say, Altros, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to, for as long as you want to say it for.
Oh, wow. I would just give a special appreciation to my family. My faith in my family comes first before football, and my family has been so special to me. All the things that they've done for me, my sons, my daughter, my grandkids, my brothers, my sister-in-laws, and everybody associated with my family. They've been great for me, going and supporting me all these years, all these decades, and I just I can't say enough about it. So to my family, I appreciate.
Right on. And cheers back to you. I speak for tens of thousands that say we get inspired by the Trostes. Every decade there's something new and exciting.
Yes, no doubt about it. I still substitute teach. Ever since I retired from teaching 10 years ago, I still like to get back into the classroom and don't lose the connection with our youth, and I still love doing that, and I still do that out in the Parkway School District. So
yeah,
I look forward to doing that again this school season.
Well, I tell you, that whole Parkway, the stadium school district you got to go out to watch a high school game at one of those places. I mean,
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've really improved the stadiums, the scoreboard, the clocks. I mean, they've done great. They've been great things,
Yeah.
So, and we ought to plug the high school soccer season coming up. That once again we're going to see a lot of good youth soccer. We've got to support that.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can't get there in person, stream it.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah.
All right, man. So you know that I know that you know the entire Trost family is in the Wales Certified Hall of Affinity.
Well, I appreciate that, Kevin. It's always fun talking to you. It's great
man.
to bring up old times.
Right on. All right, Al. You brought it home. Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.